All right, so let's make a pattern here. So I'm on the pattern page. I'll talk about the layout a little bit first before we get into actually making the pattern. So with the tracker, you have 8 tracks and they run vertically, and I can arrow over here so you can see them all. So there's 8 tracks. Down here, you've got shifting through your different patterns, what you use to create a song. And so I'm on pattern 2 right now. Length, this is the length of the pattern, so I can change that with the jog wheel here. And so you can have even or odd lengths, so you can kind of get different musical ideas going that way. A nice shortcut here is if you hold length, and then you can use the left and right arrows to do the predefined intervals, so you can quickly shift to lengths that make sense for most music. Okay, so we'll keep ours at 64 steps long, so I go down. You can see that I've got 64 steps. Okay, so for this step mode, what this refers to is, right now I have it set at 2, so whatever I'm inputting, it could be an instrument, the note, it will move 2 steps instead of 1 down. So I'll give you an example. So if I go to record, and I go to my first instrument, number 1, and if I just press, so it's going to input every 2 steps. So that's a nice way of quickly inputting notes. After that is the fill function. You can see it's grayed out because I'm not in edit mode, but if I go into record edit mode, then I've got fill, and I'll show you more about this once we start making the pattern. Preview is simply if you're over a step, I can go to it and preview what's happening on it. Undo and redo. I believe it's 22 steps of undo. If I click more, you've got all these grayed out sections. I'll just go into record mode there, and then we've got render selection. So that's like you can render all the tracks, or you can render 1 track, or half a track, I believe. And basically that'll just turn it to audio so that you can free up space on other tracks, and layer like that. So really useful tool there. Inverts the pattern here. Duplicate pattern just duplicates everything without having to select everything, and without having to select like that. I'll show you that shortcut in a moment, how to do that. Expand pattern, so that turns everything into sort of a double time. Half time. And then shrink pattern brings it to double time. So it takes whatever you've got and halves it or doubles it with spaces in between. So whatever space is in between, it's going to double that or halve it. And I'll give you an example of that as well. Copy pattern, paste pattern, pretty simple. I think I may have already said that. Anyway, oh no, I did duplicate pattern. So yeah, that's that. So now you have a general layout of things. This pad right here, it's contextual with what mode you're in here. So like note, now I've got, so this is a loop that I cut up into various parts. If I go to sample playback, you can see I can kind of go around the loop. So if your sample playback mode is in beat slice, then note mode refers to the different slices. But if I go to, say, a different instrument that's more melodic, like let's go to the bass, now my notes are literal notes. And you set what those notes are in the config menu with the pad root and the pad scale. So I have my pad root note on C3, so that's the bottommost left most pad will be on C3, and the pad scale I have on chromatic. And so I like to make sure that my instruments are all tuned to C for when I'm in chromatic mode, and my pads are when I'm in chromatic mode and my root note is on C. I like to make sure all my instruments are C when I press this. So I'll check it against the keyboard, because your samples could be on any note, so depending where you get them and all that. So it's just nice to clean everything up so that when you decide if you want your pads to be in a certain scale, that it is actually in the scale and you're looking at the right letters corresponding to the notes you're hearing. I hope that made sense. And then there's instrument mode here, and with this you can just cycle through all your different samples. And you can see on the pad there, I can also select them like this, and that'll actually input them in because I'm in the edit mode. And then effects, you can go through your effects, various effects, and same with your second real-time effect. So hopefully that's a good explanation of what's happening on these columns here, how each track is split up into the note, the instrument or sample, and then the first effect and the second effect. Okay, so I'm gonna just make a simple pattern now. I'm gonna start with a guitar sample. We'll put it on track 1. So there's a few ways I can input this sample. I can go to instrument here and I can hold it, and I can go to my sample. I happen to know it's number 5, and now it's there. The other way to do it would be to click fill and constant, and I need to go to instrument mode there, and I want instrument 5. This would not be the smart way to do this because it's just, you don't need the fill button for just filling one spot, but I just want to show you, and I'll show you more of that too. Okay, so now I have this sample, and if I go to sample playback, you can see I just have it in one-shot mode, and I'm just playing through the entire sample. And so I have already set our session tempo to 135, which is the same speed as this particular sample because I'm kind of basing everything off of this guitar sample. So if I press play, it should perfectly loop. And it does, works out. So that's going to be track 1. So I'm not going to put anything else on track 1 because if I do, it's gonna cut that sample because it's like a choke group. So if I put something else here, then I'll get, and so that's no good. So track 1 is just our guitar. So track 2, I'm going to put hi-hats. So I'm going to show you how to quickly fill this entire thing with hi-hats. So I'm going to go into record mode and I'm just kind of like down here. If I want to go to the top of the column, I can't do that. If I'm in play mode, I can go up to the top just like this. But a quick way up is a hold shift and then home or insert, and it brings you up to the top. And then I just hold shift and arrow up, and it fills the whole column. And if I do it one more time, it's going to fill the entire pattern, but I don't want that. I just want the column. So shift up, and I've got the column. So now I'm going to click fill, and let's go to, I'm in instrument mode here, so I know which sample I want. It's number 11. I have that written down here. So that's it. And constant. Yes, I don't want the instrument to change throughout, and I want each step that I've highlighted to be filled in. There's other options you could have where there are, you could fill in only where there's currently already notes. So if there were notes in, I could fill in instruments only where I'd already put notes, or where there were no notes, where there are effects, no effects, random, each one, or each third step or fourth step out of my selection if I change that. And then Euclidean as well, which is, it divides, so you'll have three events, and it'll just kind of divide it, giving you a Euclidean sort of rhythm. So it will be kind of natural syncopations and stuff, and constantly changing uneven distributions of sounds, I guess you would say. So that's a cool thing as well. But let's go to each, because I just want each one filled. I just want constant hi-hats. And then constant, of course, you can do from to, so different instruments from this one to this one, or random out of a selection of instruments. But I just want constant, and I want hi-hats. So now I'm going to play this. So obviously super boring, right? But a really cool way with how you edit these with trackers is I will select everything again. I'm going to go to Effects, and I'm going to fill with the slice effect, which is in my sample playback mode. If I go into that, I'm not going to, but you would see that I sliced up a hi-hat pattern. So it's real hi-hats, and I sliced up the pattern per each little hit, and you know, the drummer's naturally hitting them differently, and so you get this kind of natural, really natural sounding variation. So I'll go to Slice, wherever that is, Slice, and I want fill type to be random from 1 to, I think there's like 5 slices I have, but that'll do it, and then just fill. And now let's hear this. Yeah. And that just kind of works out. If I wanted to, I could maybe make it a little more of a pattern instead of totally random, so I could like copy a section I liked like this and just simply shift paste, 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 paste. And that's fine, and just so we'll stick with that. So it's a little more regular, but there's enough variation because I copied like 2 full beats or something. Okay, so track 3, we're gonna put just kind of a synthy sound. And so let's go to Instrument, and I'm gonna select everything, and I'm gonna fill with the synthy sound that I want, which is, was it number 3, I believe, or no, number 9. All right, so I'll go to number 9, and I want it random, so I want it to randomly fill, and here's where you select your density. So what do I want for this? I want it happening pretty regularly, so I'll go to like that. Okay, and let's hear how this sounds. So it's not in the key at all or anything, but it's just randomly generated notes. So now let's put it in the key. So what I'm going to do is I'll go to record mode, and I'll go to my note mode here, shift up, and then fill. And now what we need to do is decide what scale we're going to use. Okay, so I happen to know that this sample that's playing here is in G sharp minor or A flat minor. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my where. I want it wherever there is currently a note. I don't need it on spots where there isn't. And then I'm going to select the scale. I'm going to go with Dorian, and we're going to do random, and we're going to select, let's say, I kind of want it to sound higher. So I'm going to have G sharp 3 2, and this determines the root. And then we'll have, let's see, G sharp 6, I guess. And let's see, and click fill. So now you can see there's only notes where I had an instrument. So now let's play. It's really loud. Hold up. Here, 9. I don't know why that's so loud. I guess I turned it up or something. Okay, so I found something I liked, so I'm going to get rid of that. So this is kind of garbage to me. I like that, right? Oh, thought I deleted that. So really the beginning is the best part, so I'm going to get rid of this. And so we'll copy paste that top part and then kind of create variations off of it. So I'll just select everything here. All right, and copy. And then I'll go to this and let's paste it like here. Yeah, let's see how that sounds. That might work. Kind of like that. Now, so I'm gonna again select effects, fill, and I'm going to go to our roll effect. I think this could benefit from a little bit of that, so let's find roll. And I don't want each, I want random, and I want the well, actually, I think I want, yeah, random's fine. Density, pretty low. I just want it to hit a few times. Oh, I did something wrong, so let's go back. I didn't set everything, so I have to set what kind of rolls I want. So random from 1 to 2 rolls. Okay, so I didn't like that one. I don't know, I just kind of want silence there. And then just again, there's too many of them, right? Good, and just delete these. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so that took a minute, but that's track 3. So now let's go to track 4, and here I'm gonna put on my kick and snare. So I'm gonna put them on the same track because each track is a choke group, right? So I don't care if the kick and snare are choking each other, especially the way I'm going to have them laid out with a bit of distance between them. So that is just fine with me. So let's go to kick, which is 30, I think. So I can hold instrument down and I can go to what I want. And I'm gonna live record this. So I've got, as you can see, I'm in instrument mode, see, because I'm on the second thing, and I've got this pad here is lit up. So this is where I'm gonna wanna press for my live recording. It's telling me that this is where the kick is. It's the 30th pad. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna delete that one, and I'm gonna hold record and press play, and that will give me a little pre-roll that I can set up in the config. I have set that up. And then I'll just play in the kick. So oops. So I just have to fix this one. So copy, just by pressing copy, up, paste, I'll delete. And, you know, let's set this to 1. There we go. Okay, and now we'll do our snare, right? So I'm going to, which instrument is the snare? Let's see, it looks like it's 18. I have my iPad here telling me what things are. So 18, okay, because otherwise I'd be searching, it'd be annoying. So 18, so here we are. All right, so let's do it. 2, 3, 4. Nope. I don't know, like maybe one here. So it's gonna automatically, I can just tilt this scroll wheel and it's automatically gonna go to the last instrument I was on. So just like that. So that works. And let me save my work here, file, save. Track 5, okay, so here I'm gonna put this little phone dial sound I found on Splice. By the way, all these sounds are Splice sounds. So what I do is, it's kind of fun, I just go on Splice and just spend like 20 minutes finding cool sounds. And then I just make a folder with the name of whatever the project I'm working on. And in the sample loader, I can show you what I did. Sample, enter, and I have one of them where it's a tracker pattern tutorial. That's for this video, enter. And you can see all of the different sounds I have. But I didn't use half of them. but here they all are. And so I loaded in some, and yeah, it's just a fun way. You just like start every new project with all your instruments and sounds already, unless I want to record live into this or use the record the radio function with the internal radio here. But that's a great way to work, because you can kind of just spend time, let me just pick sounds and find a cool vibe overall with sounds, and then move from there, and then bring them onto the tracker and go ham. Okay, so track 5. So phone dial is the sound, so it is instrument 6. Let's go to it. Or no, it's not. Apparently it's not. I lied to myself, which wasn't nice of myself. Let's see. Phone dial-y sound. Okay, oh, telephone button. Okay, that makes sense. I'll go to note mode so I can hear it. So let's see. I think that was the... I just played a note on my keyboard to make sure I had it on the correct route. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to config now, because I'm going to live play this in, but I want to set my pads here to something, I guess let's go Dorian, and pad root note, we'll change it to the key, and let's have it on like G sharp, no, that's too low, oops, G sharp 4, oh I can't, okay, because it's the very bottom of it, okay, so like that. Alright, so now when I play, should be a G sharp, and it is. And we're in Dorian. Okay, that's cool. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to play the pattern and just kind of come up with a little, not melody, but just kind of a goofy sequence of notes, like a phone's being dialed. So if I go to this current instrument and I go to its effects, I'm setting it to delay, you can hear, and I think it's a bit more than I want on it. And I also I want to turn on a high pass filter. I don't want so much low end. And now for effects on this guy, I think I'll do, we'll fill in wherever there's a note, we'll put in a panning effect, random from, let's say, 22 left to 22 right. Okay. All right, so now track 6. What are we doing here? This is going to be a bell sound and a rotary phone sound. So at the top, we'll put a bell, and that is 3, instrument 3. Yeah, and you know what? We're going to go up an octave from here. So an easier way to do that is instrument parameters, and I'm going to go up. Sorry about that, I lost some footage there, and I noticed that there was a big, bright light on reflecting off the screen from my recess lighting, so I turned that off. I hope that helps you see things better. Amateur hour around here, but that's okay. I am kind of an amateur to videography, so that's kind of expected. So anyway, what you missed, I brought that bell up an octave. I put in a little panning automation here. And I added a rotary phone sound right here. And I'm going to actually move that here. Paste. Good. bass is not supposed to be there yet. So, but speaking of bass, we're going to record bass now here on track 7. So it's a wavetable bass. The tracker comes with a bunch of wavetables, and they're really cool. And then you have wavetable effects, which are fun to mess around with. So let's see what we got here. I'm going to play this in live again. Let's hear. Just pick which notes I want. Right now I have the pad set to Dorian and in our key, A flat minor. Okay, so here we go. Cool. And so for the bass, let's try some of the wavetable effects. So I'm going to go down. I'm going to have them come in just at the end here for this little lick, I guess you might say. So fill. Let's do each, and we'll go to wavetable position. It would be position, right? Yeah. Let's do from 2. Go like this. See if we hear it. Okay, we heard it, but it wasn't particularly well timed. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to actually start this earlier. So I'm going to delete those effects, come down, and we're going to start it on our, like here, starting with this note. So it'll just kind of build up intensity towards the end there. I think will be good. Just put a slight low pass filter on it. That seems counterintuitive, but I could either take some of the high end out there, or I could do it with the effect, but I'd just rather leave the effect. It's easier to just change it in the instrument parameter. Okay, so now we have the bass. So now let's do something. I've pretty much prepared this. I knew kind of what I was going to do here in terms of the pattern here, just for the ease of, speed of the tutorial. But for track 8, I'm going to just do a complete improvisation thing. Not an improvisation, but just bringing something in. I don't know, some elements. So let's do something interesting. Let's go to, I was going to go to the radio, but I just realized then I might get a copyright strike or something. Boy, it's real. Oops. So what to do? All right, we'll just find a different, just a sound, a random sound. Let's go into our boy Ben Jordan's sounds. That could be cool. Let's add it. So I'm going to go to an empty space over here, and I'm going to do add. So it's going to be instrument 12, and you can see it takes up a lot of our overall project memory because it's a nice long chord. So 12, and let's hear it. So that'll work. So let's figure out where we want it. Oh, and you know what? Sample playback. Let's crop it down because I just want the one chord. I think I just want the first chord there. So, so let's go to the end, and we're just gonna bring it over here. Sorry. That'll work, and I'll zoom in. Just I think that's clean enough. So apply, and so now we've got our sound is, and now it's saving. So I'm going back to pattern mode. All right, so I think I'll do that. So. Let's put some effect on. I think I want it in the distance a bit. Cool. Just pan it over. Okay, so now let's go to our master section, click the master again, and we can see all our tracks. And because I put all of our different instruments sort of, it's kind of organized how I planned it out, this mixer becomes somewhat useful because, you know, I can just mix the hi-hats quickly here, and the bass is on track 7, and so everything is kind of on a track. With the tracker, it doesn't always end up that way just because you run out of spaces. So if I want to live record chords, for example, those chords, it may be one instrument, but they're going to go on multiple tracks, and the tracker will just select those tracks that it'll find open spots and put in your chords. And so, you know, some notes might get choked out. So, you know, that's just kind of what you deal with the tracker, but it's meant to be a positive limitation. You know, those kind of limitations are cool. They force you into making a choice instead of just having just anything. You can do anything. That's not good. So just mixing a little bit. Let's see. Works for me. So let's talk a little bit about these views now. Again, just pattern, hold, note, and now I can see all the notes that are happening. Instrument, now I can see where all the instruments are. Effects, or note and instrument by holding pattern and holding note and then pressing instrument. Same with instrument and effect, or the two effects. And I wonder if I can do note and effect one. Yes. So you can do any kind of combination of two of these for viewing. Now, let me make sure I didn't miss any of the important navigation stuff. So we talked about going up to the top quickly like this. Now, if I want to select everything, I think I did this, but record, shift, up again, like that. And then also there's, what else? Oh, insert. So if I want to move everything, I can insert a blank space if I'm in record mode, like that. I'm going to undo that because I don't want that. And, oh, let's talk about some of these. So let's do the expand pattern. So this is going to add space to our pattern, making our thing in halftime. So shrink it back down. Shrink it again, I guess. Whoa, baby. That's better, right? we can end on that. And so there you have it. Alright, that pretty much wraps it up for this video. I hope you learned something from the tutorial. My name's Evan Thompson, and I'll see you next time. Bye.